Hi, I'm Natalie Shoro, a BS Environmental Engineering student from MSU IIT. Welcome to my Climate Change Action Vlog. Let's talk about climate change during the COVID pandemic. Biological hazards such as the COVID-19 pose a serious risk to human, animal, plant, life, and health. So I think we all know how climate change has been very real from this past few years to the present, especially global warming. And we might think that because the majority of the world is in lockdown, hence reduced human activity, that we fixed climate change and the world is healing. Well, that is slightly true, but only to a temporary extent. Lessened emission trends for transport and electricity generation from the reduced human consumption did put a sharp drop of fossil fuel emissions early in the pandemic, but global CO2 emissions rose again as worldwide economic activity recovered in 2020. And the drop was much smaller than what many climate researchers expected, given the scale of the pandemic. It is obviously not expected to last once the virus is brought under control. Pandemics are cyclical in nature and likely to intensify as the climate warms, population size grows, and agriculture expands. COVID-19's economic and social impacts have disrupted nearly all aspects of life. Agricultural livelihoods have been particularly hard hit. At no other point in history has Earth been faced with such an array of familiar and unfamiliar risks, interacting in a hyper-connected world and a changing landscape. Least developed countries and lower income countries like where I live are often among the most affected, with cascading consequences for value chains, food security, and even national economies. We are living at a time that demands ambitious collective measures. During these trying times, sometimes the effort for climate change is put aside, but there is no point to aiming for a COVID-free world if we're all gonna die in climate change anyways. There are a few things society can do: prevention, mitigation, adaptation. Prevention would most likely be the cheapest and most straightforward solution, but that is if only industrial countries are ready to put the human race over capitalism. The third line of defense is adaptation. This means developing ways to live in a warmer planet, but I don't think we're ready for that given the already present problems like COVID-19. Increased risk exposure has become the new normal, and the impact of climate change is set to bring these challenges even further. In this context, the ability of the governments, international organizations, civil society, and the private sector to operate and cooperate in fragile and disaster-prone contexts is a defining feature for meeting global targets and achieving resilience and sustainability. Hi, once again, I am Natalie Kate H. Shoro, a first-year environmental engineering student of MSU IIT, and thank you for listening to my ENE video. See you next time!